Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adam TV Podcast. For those of you who are new to this podcast, our podcast will be broadcast regularly every Sunday night. Once again, hello, everyone. And now let's get started with today's topic. I will start today's episode with a short story. Once upon a time, I went to a funeral with a friend of mine in Australia. The deceased is a close friend of my friend. In the funerals of Westerners, people often have a tradition. That is, close people will stand up and share memories with the deceased. When it was my turn to speak, he told me about the memories of their childhood. Then after that, it was the journey that my friend witnessed how the other friend grew up and lived his life. His story was very good, but the sentence that touched me the most was the ending sentence that my friend used to end the story about his friend. He said the sentence was a life well lived. Translated into Vietnamese, it is a life worth living. 4 words, but it kept touching my head forever. It made me ask myself a question, that is, how do I want to live my life? So that after I lie down, I can still laugh that I have lived a life worth living. And from those thoughts, it led me to a bigger question. That is, how do I want my life to be told? And in today's episode, I will share with you the journey that I went to find that answer for myself. In the picture that I will share with you in today's episode, I divide it into 3 stages. The first stage, I call it the investment stage, because in my opinion, anything in this life is the same. To get the sweet fruit, we must have the days that we work hard to plant. In terms of finance, in order to get high returns, good results, we must have days to work hard to invest. It would be very unreasonable if we don't have enough effort but want to have sweet fruits later. So right when I started to take over my life, right after I was 18 years old, I received the key from my parents to start running my own life. That's when we have to start right at this investment stage. So what do we invest in? In my opinion, we should invest in 4 aspects, that is, experience, knowledge, finance, and mindset. Now the next question is, what is the most effective way to invest in these 4 aspects? Now I will step back a bit to get back to the original question. That is, how do we want our life story to be told? This is a very important question that I think all of us should ask ourselves to find the answer ourselves. Because if we can't find the answer to this question, it means that as long as we don't know what we want our life to be like, we will still go forward in a very vague way. At that time, we will not know where we should go. And when we don't know where to go, we will very easily tend to follow the directions. Seeing others go, I go too. And when we follow the directions, that's when we start to expose our life to bad luck. If we are lucky, that direction will lead us to places that make us happy. And if we are not lucky, it will lead us to things we don't want. Until we realize, we may have gone almost all the way. Therefore, in my opinion, one of the most important goals is to figure out a picture that I want to draw for my life. In other words, that is, how do we want our life to be told after we lie down? And in my opinion, the most effective way to answer this important question is that we have to have a lot of ingredients, and the ingredients here are what will make us happy. The more of these ingredients, the better. Why did I say that? Because now imagine if we ask a piano artist what they want their life picture to be like. Their answer will definitely be revolving around activities related to piano and music. Similarly, if we ask that question to Professor Ngo Bao Cho, for example, then I guess 90% of the answer will be to live your whole life to study math and do things related to math. But if we ask that same question to a young man who has just finished high school and doesn't know what he likes or wants, it will definitely be very difficult for you to answer the question that you want your life picture to be like. Therefore, this question is both a difficult question and an easy question. Difficult is if we don't have the ingredients, if we don't know what we like, what we are passionate about. Easy is when we know clearly what we are passionate about, what will bring us joy and happiness. But passion is like an illusion in the desert. Everyone knows that we need it. Everyone wants it. But to have it is not easy. There are some people who have been around all their lives, but they still don't know what they are passionate about. So the next question is, how do we find our passion? In my opinion, the only way to find your passion is to experience it a lot. Because it will be very difficult for us to stand outside, look in, and determine whether we like it or not. The only way to know if you like it or not is to experience it long enough and deep enough. Why do I say long enough and deep enough? Because in most cases, we can only find out if we like something or not after we have experienced it for a long enough time. I take a simple example of playing the guitar. At first, it will be very easy to give up playing the guitar because we have to learn all the basic things, not to mention playing for a long time, but still not getting any melody. This time will be very boring, but if we continue to practice, slowly you will be able to start playing, and slowly you will find the joy in it. And that joy will grow bigger and bigger, and if it continues to develop like this, it may become a passion of yours. Therefore, if we give up too soon, you may miss out on a chance to discover a passion of yours. But there is also the possibility that after a while, after you have mastered it, it is still not attractive enough to continue. At least we have a fairly accurate answer to the question of whether it is your passion or not. Therefore, in the first 5 months, if you still don't know what you like, then you just experience it a lot. Whenever you have a chance to experience something new, just experience it and do it to the end. And these things sometimes ask us to invest quite a lot of time. That is why in this series I have saved a lot of time for this experience, a total of 17 years, from the time we were born at the age of 18 to 35. In fact, this is the time when we have nothing to lose. We are born with white hands, so we should experience as much as possible. Even after a while, we find out that it is not what we like. It is still a very valuable experience in life, because at the end of the day, we live to experience as many things as possible. In the previous episode, I gave an image of cards in the game of life. At this stage, the more we play, the better. And I believe that the more we play, the more likely we are to find the games we like. It will be very difficult if we only play a few games and hope to find out which game we like right away. But imagine if we have played about 100 games, we will definitely find a few games that we like. And just like that, when you have experienced enough in such a long period of time, I believe that you will definitely find your own passion. I even believe that if you experience countless things in such a long period of time, finding more than one passion is a completely possible thing. And that will be a great thing because sometimes there are people who live their whole lives but they can't find any passion. And sometimes just one passion is enough for us to draw a picture of our life. The second thing we need to have is knowledge. I don't need to say too much about this because everyone knows that knowledge is very important in life. We try to build a mindset which in English is called growth mindset. I don't know how to translate this word into Vietnamese to make it more reasonable, but the point is that we have to build a spirit of always learning, always reinventing ourselves. Especially in this era that we are living in, the acquisition of knowledge opens the door for everyone. There is no difference between rich or poor. You only need a computer or even a phone with an internet connection. The knowledge playground is now much more fair. That's why we just need to build a spirit of always learning, and there are ways to learn and research how to make it effective. From there, we can research any field we want. Looking at this chart, although I put the learning and education stage in the 18 to 35 age range, learning is what we should do for the rest of our lives. I put it in this stage to make the chart look neater. Next, another important thing that we need to do as soon as possible is the financial freedom journey. We should do this as soon as we are born. As soon as we have the first salary, we need to invest. I have shared how to do it in detail in the financial freedom journey. If you haven't watched it, you can watch it again. And if you still remember, the first step of the financial freedom journey is that we have to raise ourselves. That is, we have to get rid of dependence on our family.